You know, TJ, it's really easy for you to talk to me about buying a collection. When you're able to buy all these big collections, you've been in business for a while, so you've got all this capital that you can throw around and you can buy these collections for $2, $3, $4,000. But what about me? I'm just getting started. I don't have that kind of money. There's no way I can get into this. Well, that's not true. In fact, I'm going to tell you today in this video how I would go about starting. If I didn't have any capital to buy big collections and I only had $500, what exactly would I buy? What would I focus on? And so if you are wanting to start a Pokemon card store selling on TCGPlayer, I think this video will be beneficial for you. What's up, guys? My name is TJ. I run a business called PokePaster TCG where I buy and I sell Pokemon cards on TCGPlayer. I've done over $200,000 in sales. Not profit, that's sales. Those things are not the same. Sometimes I have to clarify that because people are like, where's your... It's funny. One time some guy was like, if you have, made $200,000 selling Pokemon, where's your big warehouse? And I'm like, I'm not even going to try to entertain that. Anyways, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the channel, and we're well on our way to 2,000 subscribers. So thank you. When you press like or leave a comment or hit subscribe, it does help this content to get out to more people, and I so enjoy hanging out with you guys and being able to create content and help you in this way. And by the way, I got a chance to buy a collection from a viewer just this morning, and that was pretty sweet. They happened to be in town, and so I bought, I think it was like $3,500 or $4,000 worth of cards from them. And so yeah, so that was pretty awesome. So a little plug here: if you are not necessarily wanting to get into a business on your own, but you're just enjoying the content for like the to stay up with the journey of things, and you do have a collection you want to get rid of, I will buy your stuff. So shoot me an email. But if you are wanting to start a store, I think this video is going to be beneficial for you, because it's not all about buying these big collections. In fact, you don't have to start there, and I didn't start there. I didn't have like a bunch of money just sitting around that I could throw into this business off the rip. I had like a small collection of cards that was just kind of sitting around that I had opened up from packs with my daughter. And so that's why I always tell people, like, if you are wanting to get into this, like, my guess is if you're in the hobby at all, you have some cards that hold value. So sell that stuff first, okay? But let's pretend that you don't, okay? Let's pretend that you don't have cards that are worth value, or you're not willing to part with those cards, which again, I'm going to challenge you on that. Like, if you're wanting to get in the business space, get rid of some of those cards. But if you don't, and you're like, okay, I just want to start, how much money do I need? This is what I would do if I were in your shoes and I were to go over and start everything again, and I've only got $500. What would my first goal be? My first goal would be to try and get level 4 on TCGPlayer. So there's kind of a weird thing that happens, and it all has to do around how you're able to customize your shipping fees, or what you put your shipping at. Until you get level 4, I would say you're not really even playing the game on TCGPlayer. You're kind of just in like the preseason, if you will. Because once you get to level 4, you're able to you're able to set your shipping to 0. And once you set your shipping to 0, then your prices on the platform are going to show up a lot more competitively compared to all the other sellers on the platform. When you have the like plus 122 or plus 137 or whatever the shipping is, it's the standard until you get to level 4, your listing is not going to be near as visible as someone else's. So the goal right off the rip should be to get to level 4. And here's like the challenging part, okay? You're not going to probably make any money until you get there. In fact, you might even lose money to get there. And so the first goal should be get level 4 so that you can start actually playing the game. And how are you going to do that? You can only list 50 cards when you're level 1. You want to make sure that they're cards that sell. You also want to make sure you're maybe making some money, or at least breaking even. You really don't want to be like taking a bath. It's okay to take some losses here and there. And so what would I buy? Well, I would spend probably $50 to $100, somewhere in there, like $50 to $100 getting supplies, right? I've got a video on my channel that says how to ship cards like a pro. Go watch that video, and in the description of that video, I have all of the materials that you need. I've got a link to the exact envelopes that I use, and the exact stamp thing that I use, and all of the team bags, all of the materials that you'll need to ship stuff. I've got a link to all that, and so spend like $50 to $100 acquiring shipping supplies. But then inventory. What inventory should you buy? And you want to make sure that you're listing the inventory that's going to sell. And so you want to prioritize cards that are going to move. Now, the most liquid cards that this has been my experience. The most liquid cards are going to be cards over the $5 price range that are like desirable, modern, cool looking cards. A good rule of thumb would be like illustration rares from the Scarlet and Violet era, or like trainer gallery cards from the Sword and Shield era. A lot of those fall into that price range. A few specifically that I'm thinking of, like any illustration rare from 151. I'm thinking like the Psyduck from 151, like the Nidoking from 151, the Poliwhirl from 151, the Caterpie from 151. All of those cards, if you list them at market price, or at market price with your shipping, they will go like that. 151 just moves super quick. Ask anybody who sells cards, ask anybody who sells on TCGPlayer. Buy illustration rares from 151. And if you can get them at like 80% even, okay? Again, this is starting. Your goal necessarily here is not to make money. Your goal is to get to level 4 so that you can make money. Even if you have to pick up a 151 collection at like 80% for a couple $100 or something like that, I would do it, because those cards are going to move fast. Maybe you make a few bucks, maybe you break even, but those cards will move. Also, playable cards, cards that people include in their decks often. And this is going to kind of get me into my next point. But if you know that these cards are like, hey, this is a card that is very common to show up in someone's deck, you can go to Limitless TCG. I think it's limitless.tcg, and look at all the popular decks. Dragapult is a really popular deck right now. The Dusk Noir line, Duskull, Dusclops, Dusk Noir from Shattered Fable. Those are all popular cards. Those cards move relatively quickly because people who play the game, which it's a pretty big community, the National North American International Championships, NAIC, is happening right now. I've been watching that a little bit. It's pretty sweet. But people who build decks, they buy those cards. And so playable cards have a high volume of sales on the platform because people are wanting to include these cards in their deck. So that's what I would do initially, is buy those kind of cards and list them, because you can't just expect your first 50 cards that you list to be like, I don't have any here, but just bulk. Like, you know, here's a random reverse holo from Scarlet Violet base. It's probably not going to sell. Like, it will eventually, but not before you're level 4, and you want to make sure you're prioritizing cards that will sell. So I would do that, and I would spend, so I spent $50 on $50 on material, and then I spent a couple $100. Let's say $200, $250 on hopefully liquid cards that I could pick up at 80%. And picking up cards at 80% should not be tough. You cannot move forward picking up all of your collections at 80%. You'll never make any money. You have to go lower than 80%, but you should be able to find some collections in your area or online at 80% and have that be the first few cards, or the first, you know, couple dozen cards that you list. And I think over a month or 2 months, you should be able to get to level 4. If you're not able to get to level 4 in your first few months of selling on TCGPlayer, my guess is you're doing something wrong. Hopefully I can help you figure out what that is. But it should not take that long. It can happen really, really quickly. So then what? Now you're level 4, now you're playing the game. What would you do with the rest of your money? I've said it before, I'll keep saying it. Learn how to sell bulk, because it's so, the risk level is so low, and it is so easy to figure this out. How are you going to find out which cards are valuable to pull from bulk? I'm not kidding, okay? I'm not trolling you. Learn how to play the trading card game. I'm not saying you have to like obsess about it. I'm just saying download Pokemon Trading Card Game Live on your phone. Go to the App Store, Google Play Store, download it. Look up a few popular decks and just start playing, okay? Pop quiz, okay? If you can't get these 2 questions right, you need to play the game. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to find bulk. Okay, what is the most expensive regular EX card that is included in almost every single deck right now? Jeopardy music. You got it? Pheasantipity EX. Okay, it's like a $13, $14, $15. I haven't sold one in a little while. Somewhere in there, right? Just for a regular double rare EX card, it's like $15. If you did not know that, you should learn how to play the game. All right, pop quiz question number 2. Which card came out? It's a regular holo rare. Which card came out in Twilight Masquerade, and it is undoubtedly the most powerful card in the format right now. You see it in almost every deck, sometimes multiple copies of this card. Just regular holo rare, basic Pokemon. It allows you to move damage around on the other side of the board. Here's another hint: you have to attach a dark energy to it to do that. If you don't know this, if you don't know this, you should play the game because you might pass over this in bulk. The correct answer is Monkey Dory. See, and I don't play all the time, but I play enough to know those things and all sorts of other cards. Buddy Buddy Poffin is going to be included in almost every deck. Arvin is going to be the supporter that's played a ton in almost every deck. Out of the new set, which big deck out of the Destined Rivals format, out of the Destined Rivals set is like the most, powerful one? Is it, you're probably like, oh, it's Rocket's Mewtwo. No, that deck is actually like kind of whatever. It's Marnie's Grimmsnarl. Marnie's Grimmsnarl might win the international championship that's happening right now. Now, if you don't play the game or keep up with the game, you don't know any of that. And so you're not going to be able to pull those playable cards out of bulk. So I'm serious, download the game and start playing, not just because it's fun, which it is fun, but because it allows you to learn which cards are going to be played and which cards are going to be useful for you to pick up. So that's what I would do. I would seriously spend my first $50 acquiring $50 to $100 acquiring like, team bags, stuff like this. And then I would spend my next couple $100 buying a collection to get to level 4. And then after I got to level 4, I would buy $200 or $300 worth of bulk. I would spend a penny per card of non-holo cards, and then I would try and spend 3 cents per card for anything that has, holo on it, so holo or reverse holo. And I would just sort through those like crazy, and I would learn. And then after you sort through that stuff, guess what? You get to sell that bulk again and make back almost all of the money that you spent buying it, because people are always buying bulk. You can throw it on eBay in a bulk lot. You can, a lot of parents will want to go through and just buy bulk for their kids just to like go hog wild with, right? So you basically have zero risk with picking that up. And then you list all that stuff and you start to learn how to make money that way. All the while that's happening, right? As money's coming in, as money is going out, you are able to keep your eyes peeled on like local Facebook groups, maybe Instagram groups and Discord pages and stuff for people who are selling their collection. And if you see a collection of cards that you can pick up at 70% market, pick it up. Just pick it up. You're level 4 at this point. You're moving cards. You're getting your system down. You're figuring out all the things. And what you'll find is slowly and surely over time, your ability to buy a $400 collection turns into your ability to buy a $600 collection and a $1,200 collection and $1,800 collection. And then you're, where I am, right? Where you're able to pick up a couple $1,000 collections at a time, and it's not that big of a deal. It's just business as usual. But it wasn't always this way. Like most things in business, it scales. You got to ramp up there. You got to be willing to put in the time, learn how to play the game, learn which cards to pick out, learn how to negotiate, all of those things. And hopefully my channel can help you. And so I'm serious. If you are wanting to get into this like Pokemon business, Pokemon card business thing, I've got all sorts of videos on my channel. I've got a playlist. Go check it out. But yeah, that's what I would do. That's how I would start. If someone said, hey, you have to start over, PokePastor, you have to start your business over. You got $500 to spend. What would you buy? That is what I would buy. I hope this video is helpful for you. Thank you guys so much for watching the content. Really appreciate it. Jesus loves you. I hope you know that. I just got back from church tonight. It's an incredible weekend at church, and God does love you. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.